Good morning, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, everybody. How's everybody doing? It's Sunday morning. It's 30 minutes early. I know it's 10 a.m. Eastern time, and we are live today a little bit early because we're very honored that the great Gary Bembridge has invited me to join him at 12 noon Eastern time today on Tips for Travelers. So we're going a little bit early today, so I've got time to switch over to that. But how's everybody doing? If you're new to the channel, I'm Walter, your independent travel advisor. I invite you to subscribe, share, like, do all those things that TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube and everybody likes to see. And for about the next hour or so, we're going to be talking all things cruising. We are your independent travel advisor. Our services are 100% free to use. So if we can help you in any way with your travels, simply reach out. Where's WalterTravel.com? Wherever you're watching us, there are either links in the description or links in my profile on how to get in touch with us. So good morning, all. Hey, Peggy's here, Sue's here. Desiree, good morning. You just got home. That's awesome. Becky, how are you? Eric, Desiree just got back from Bermuda and said, hey, there's a lot of changes down there. I'm sure there have been a lot of changes in the past 10 years. A lot of changes in cruising over the past 10 years for sure. But how's everyone doing? And as always, my wife, Rebecca, is sitting right off camera. We're going to do our best to answer your question, talk about cruise news and all of that good stuff. And we're still talking about our group cruises. Our Margaritaville cruise is selling like crazy. We might even have to add more cabins at some point. But if you're interested in the Margaritaville Islander, you can come join us in February on a group cruise, February 11th through the 17th. It's going to be the Valentine's cruise with a Captain Foul renewal, which is going to be so much fun. If you've been watching me on TikTok and YouTube, we were just on the Margaritaville Islander, and it was absolutely fantastic. We had a great time. It wasn't perfect, but we had a great time. So we've got the big group cruise going on. Hey, Cheryl's here. How are you, Cheryl? Hi, everybody. Oh, did I miss somebody up there? I did. It's good to see everybody. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning, Joyce. Good morning, Mary and Chuck. How are you guys? We're so excited to see you. You're going to be cruising with us on a couple of cruises. I cannot wait. But yeah, so we got Margaritaville coming up. And of course, we've got the big Oceania Riviera sailing to Alaska. So if Alaska's on your bucket list, come join us on a ship that only has 1,200 passengers. It's going to be amazing and nearly all-inclusive. So it's going to be absolutely amazing. Good morning, Sandra. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? We have a brand new ship in Port Canaveral. It is called the Utopia of the Seas. It's still kind of a weird name for me, Utopia. I don't know. I always thought that was just kind of an odd name, but she looked beautiful from the early things that I've seen. It's still a little odd for me to see a new Oasis class ship after the Icon. I kind of figured, with the Icon, we're just going to move on with the Icon class, but apparently there is a need for another Oasis ship, and they have said this may not be the last one. There could be another one coming, which is very interesting. I'm curious to see if Carnival is now, they've got 2 more Excel class ships coming. Is one of those ships going to be a 4-3 night situation as well, because you got the Disney Wish is doing it, and now you've got the Utopia of the Seas, 2 brand spanking new ships doing that 4-3 itinerary. So will one of those new Carnival Excel ships do it? I would honestly be surprised if not. We still don't know where those 2 ships are going, but I would honestly be very surprised if at least one of those Excel class ships does not do the 4-night, 3-night itineraries alternating. What do you guys think? Are you guys ready to do the ultimate weekend on the Utopia of the Seas? I know a lot of people have said, why would you do such a big ship when you can only do 3 or 4 nights? And the answer is because people who only have 3 or 4 nights, and maybe they only want to do 3 or 4 nights, they still want to experience that big ship. So they had a choice, go out and get on the biggest, the baddest ship for 7 nights, or, maybe take something that maybe wasn't quite so new for 3 or 4 nights. And now the cruise lines are like, hey, here's the Disney Wish. Here's the Utopia of the Seas. You want to go out on one of the biggest, baddest ships? Here it is. And you can go out for 3 or 4 nights. So that's why they're doing it. Plus, honestly, they make more money. They can sell the ship twice in a week versus one time. So, for the cruise line perspective, they actually make a little more money. Swell Mel, best European cruise line. No, gosh, there really isn't one. First of all, are you talking Europe? You're talking the Mediterranean? You're talking Norway?
And are you talking a cruise line that's based in Europe or a cruise line that sails in Europe?
I mean, so for Greece, a fun little cruise line is Celestial. If you want to just do Greece, Celestial is a great little cruise line. That is a family-owned cruise line. We've sent some folks on there.
Well, yes, she is talking Greece, or he.
Huh?
They are talking Greece.
I know. I just saw it come up here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Celestial is a family-owned cruise line in Greece. They only got 2 ships. Azamara has some amazing Greek intensive itineraries. Oceania is good in Greece as well. I mean, they're all there. Even Virgin Voyages has some great itineraries in Greece. So it all just depends on, what are you looking for from the ship itself? And what kind of ports are you guys looking for? So, yeah, I mean, if you want to reach out, we'd be more than happy to help you out. Again, our services are 100% free. So just reach out, where'swaltertravel.com, or you're watching on TikTok, click my logo and go into the link tree there. And the very first link is contact us. We'd be more than happy to help you guys out. We're just putting together a crazy, so we got like a really specific request. And it's kind of trying to work in all the ports they want to see is always a little bit fun. But combination land and cruise is really big in Greece too. We've got Rero Tours, which Rero is adults only, all inclusive, only 20 some people. So that's really cool. Hey, Calvin is going on the Utopia August 9th. Oh my gosh. Have an amazing time. Please let us all know what you think about it. It's going to be incredible. Christy. Great question. For the Oceania Alaska group cruise, any group planned yet for catching the ferry to Skagway to do the White Patch Rail since they dropped Skagway as a port? That will not be a group activity. However, there is a high-speed ferry. So for those of you who are going to Alaska and you want to do the White Patch Railway train in Skagway, you can actually do it from Haines, Alaska, if you've got enough time, because there is a ferry that gets between Haines and Skagway in about 45 minutes. However, there is a twist to that. The White Patch Railway does not have a whole lot of tickets beyond the cruise line. So first of all, you need to see if you can even get a ticket for the train before you even look at that. Because I went and took a look, and there really was not a whole lot available outside of the cruise line. And for those of you who don't know, the White Patch Railway is actually owned by Carnival Corporation now. So no, we're not putting together any kind of a group plan for there. Rebecca and I have made some plans actually in Haines, but there have been a couple of people who have talked about it. It is a possibility to get there. One, you just got to make sure that there's even tickets for the train available. So Skagway, so Juneau is pushing no cruise Saturdays now up in Alaska. I know Skagway has been pushing back on some stuff. So, Alaska has become so popular since the pandemic that, there's up to 60 ships up there that are cruising up there in Alaska. So some of the communities are starting to push back a little bit on all these ships coming in. So that may be part of the reason why we're not going into Skagway. I don't know. I was never given an answer on that. But for whatever reason, they did change that port.
And the other kink in the plans is they don't, as far as I know, they don't yet have the ferry schedule out for 2025. So you don't know if the ferry tickets are going to line up with the train tickets right at this moment.
Yeah. So we're just planning that. We've never been to Haines, so we're pretty doggone excited about going into Haines ourselves. Janet is asking, is the Key program on Royal Caribbean worth the cost? We get that a lot. So the Key program, it gives you early embarkation. You get a special lunch when you come on board. You're able to drop your bags off when you come on board. It also gets you Wi-Fi. It usually gets you 1 hour of scheduled time at certain events. So for us, what we recommend is take a look at the Key and take a look at the price of the Wi-Fi on the ship. If they're starting to get close because the Wi-Fi is already included, then the Key may be a good deal. I think the two best things about the Key is getting on early and then also being able to drop off your bags at the main dining room so you don't have to carry them around with you. Like any bag that you bring on the ship, you can just drop them off. I was underwhelmed by the lunch, but it was still nice to be able to sit in the main dining room. But basically, the general rule of thumb is if the Wi-Fi and the Key costs are getting kind of close, then you may want to go ahead and invest in the Key, but that's totally up to you.
You also have to be aware that every person in the cabin, I believe it's over the age of 12, has to buy the
key.
program.
Yeah, it is a daily rate. It's not just you pay for it and you're done. It is a daily rate. So Coco River wants to know, when do cruises get cheaper? When is there an off season? There really isn't an off season for cruising. Cruising is pretty hot all year round. Where they tend to get a little bit lower in price is when the kids are in school. So January and September tend to be, although even September is going back up again, but January, especially like right after the holidays, everything just kind of falls off. So January, February can be good times to go on cruises, just like our group cruise. Just like our group cruise coming up for Valentine's Day. That's going to be a great price. But generally around January and then sometimes September. But in general, usually when the kids are in school, unless of course, your Viking Virgin Voyages, there's no kids on the ship anyway. But there is no off season for cruising anymore. It used to be, like September would be dead, and then January, February would be dead. But, since the pandemic, everything has come roaring back, and cruising is more popular than ever. The growth path for cruising is just absolutely insane. So, hey, Adam, how are you? Good to see you. Stanley wants to know, do you need a passport? That all depends on the cruise that you're taking. But the majority of the cruises, if you're sailing from the United States and you are going to start and end in the exact same port, that's a big key. It's got to be the exact same port. For the most part, the answer is no, you don't. You need an original birth certificate and a government-issued photo ID. However, there are exceptions to all of those rules. There are certain Caribbean ports that still require you to have a passport just to get off the ship. You can take the cruise, but in order to get off the ship. And then there are cruise lines like Oceania, our partners at Oceania that we're going to do the group cruise. They require a passport for every single passenger. It doesn't matter what the cruise is. So we strongly encourage all of our guests to get a passport because, God forbid something happens to you, you're in a port and you've got to be, medically evacuated or let off the ship for any reason at all. You're going to need a passport to get home. I mean, it's just plain and simple. You're going to need a passport to get home. And if you don't have one with you, then you're going to have to get an expedited passport and all of that good stuff. So we highly recommend a passport. They're good for 10 years. And then it's like, what do I need? Passport. That's it. You don't need anything else to get on the ship. And then once you're on the ship, you actually leave the passport in your stateroom. You leave it locked up in the safe in your stateroom.
At least for the Caribbean.
Yeah, in the Caribbean. In some European ports, you may have to take it with you, but like in the Caribbean, you can just leave it locked up in your room, and you are good
there are,
to
except for a few islands.
What's that, honey?
Except for a few islands,
Correct,
such as Martinique, and there's one other I can't remember right now.
Martinique requires you to have a passport. Although we've heard from some people saying, well, they're not checking them. So, well, that's totally up to the port. The rule is you have to take it with you, but then some folks are like, well, they're not even checking it at the port. So that's just totally up to them.
Yeah, but my luck, the one day they would be checking it, I wouldn't bring it.
Right. Good morning, Stephen. Good morning, Rick. So. Yeah, so so the passport situation, that is obviously a personal preference, but we highly recommend it. We've always had one, and it just makes your life so much easier. It's like, well, what kind of birth certificate do I need? What happens if you lose the birth certificate? And then we ran into that situation now with Puerto Rico. A lot of people who were born in Puerto Rico before July 2010 may have moved somewhere else. Like maybe they moved up here to the United States, don't even know that the law changed. So they show up with a birth certificate that's not even valid. If you were born in Puerto Rico and you still have an original birth certificate that is dated prior to July 1, 2010, your birth certificate is invalid. You can't get on the cruise ship. You can't get a passport. There's all kinds of issues with that. So you actually have to get a reissued birth certificate, something to do with security, identity theft, and things like that. So they made a law in Puerto Rico that you have to get a new birth certificate if you were born before July 1st, 2010. So even that comes into play. So it's just have a passport if you can. Plus that literally opens the entire world. You're not limited anymore. When you don't have a passport, well, then you're limited to only the cruises that are going to leave and come back to the United States. And, that's a lot of cruises, but there's so many more out there, literally the entire world, river cruises, ocean cruises, and all the rest of that good stuff. So that's what we got going there. And then, like I mentioned, we're going to Alaska on the Oceania Riviera. And I know that is a big bucket list thing for a lot of folks. And this is a small ship, it's only 1,200 passengers. It's nearly all inclusive with the package that we have. Our cabins are around $1,000 off. Plus, if you book one of our cabins, you also get a $1,200 included bonus amenity package, which is the prepaid gratuities and the drinks package upgrade.
And I just had a thought, even though we aren't planning a group thing from Haines into Skagway, I'm sure if some of the people who are on your Facebook group for this want to
absolutely
get together and plan it.
Absolutely. You can get together and plan it. We just got to wait for those ferry schedules to come out. We don't know exactly what the ferry schedules are going to be and what the train schedule is going to be. Like I said, the train schedule is a little bit tight if you're not on a cruise line tour, because the majority of them are booked through the cruise lines, and especially, with Carnival owning the trains now. So it's definitely going to be skewed towards a cruise line. Bubble Mom, what do we think about Princess Cruise Lines? Love them. Love them. We have been on, 4 now? 5? 5.
5.
We've been on 5 different ships so far. And we're going to be on the Sun Princess in October. We've got a big group going on the Sun Princess in October 19th through the 26th. Our group is now closed, but there is still room on the ship. We can still add you to the ship and then have you come participate in the group activities. But Princess is a good cruise line. I think they are among the best main dining room experiences out there in terms of quality of food and the service that you receive. I think they're among the best buffet service out there. Same thing, the quality of the food and the service that you receive in there. Their shows are incredibly underrated. Everybody talked about Royal Caribbean shows, and Royal Caribbean does put a lot of money into their shows, and they do amazing shows. However, Princess, if you're a fan of Broadway and you're a fan of Broadway style shows, they have some incredible original shows that are very you never really hear anybody talking about the Princess shows. They're really, really good. Most of them have absolutely beautiful pools and just lovely service throughout. So Princess is a great cruise line, especially if you just want to chill. You want to be served. You want to be pampered. It really is. And plus they have the Ocean Medallion, which I flat out love. I saw John Heald floated something about that on Carnival, because they are a Carnival corporation. But that Ocean Medallion for getting around the ship, that's why I love them, and Virgin Voyages, because you don't have a card, you don't have anything. So it's really good to get around. So yeah. Baseball. And if you've got any questions, Bubble Mom, certainly reach out. I'll just remind everybody our services are 100% free. Where's WalterTravel.com? We'd love to help you. Baseball 2023, thoughts on the MSC cruise line out of Port Canaveral. We've done it twice now. We've done the MSC Seaside. We've done the MSC Seashore. MSC builds absolutely beautiful ships. They have amazing pools on their ships. Where they have some issues is inconsistency in the service and the food. That's the two places that kind of hold them back right now. They're going to be, they may actually have more ships than Royal Caribbean, like within the next couple of years. Like, a lot of people don't realize how big they are. That they have a lot of ships, and they're continuing to build ship. The World America is coming next year. So they know how to build ships. When the food is on, the food is really good, but the service can be very inconsistent, sometimes to the point of being rude, and the food can be stellar to just flat out awful. They can be running out of things in the buffets and whatnot. And the cruise director staff, like if you're used to, say, Carnival, Princess, Royal, and all of that, like with the trivia games and all of that, they're not done quite as well. Like, there's not that enthusiasm toward them. It's a different experience. But will we sail MSC again? Absolutely. We've been putting a lot of people on MSC. The price is amazing. If you really want to go all out, the Yacht Club actually has more going for it than the Haven on Norwegian. You actually get more inclusions with the Yacht Club than you do with the Haven. And of course, the price is right as well. So if you haven't sailed them yet, what we do is we just qualify our clients. We let them know, hey, this is what you may get when you get on the MSC ship. And most of our clients come back and say, it's pretty much what you said. And then they make their mind up whether they want to go or not. Because again, for the price, you're still going to get, 3, 4, 7, 10, 14 days on a ship. You're still going to be pampered. You're going to have an amazing affogato, that's for sure. So, we will go again. We haven't done the Yacht Club yet. We've sailed standard twice. So we're going to go in the Yacht Club next time for sure. But yeah, it's great. It's fun. Okay. It's a fun cruise line. You just have to be aware that your service may, they have the best private island, I think. I think Ocean Key is like the best private island in the Caribbean. It really is. It's really, really nice. Tina was on the Discovery Princess in May, and it was amazing. So in May, so you were probably up in Alaska for that one. Oh, yeah, Discovery Princess. So that Royal class with Princess is absolutely beautiful. However, we've been on the Island Princess, which is one of their smallest ships. We've been on the Crown class. We were on the Caribbean Princess. I don't know what class that is. We've really had a good time on Princess, and I'm really, really intrigued by what we're going to find on the Sun. I've watched some of the stuff on the Sun Princess, but I'm trying not to watch too much because I kind of want to be surprised when we get on there and just see something. What is the best Carnival cruise line and what is the worst? I don't think any of them are the worst. If you mean Carnival Corporation or Carnival ships, I'm not really sure what you mean by that.
And it just depends on the individual.
Depends on personal taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there is no best and worst. There's what do you like? So Carnival Corporation is massive, right? You got Cunard, Carnival, Princess, Holland America.
P&O.
Seabourn, P&O.
Something else I'm forgetting.
I think there's something else. So there is no best and worst with Carnival. It's just they're all different experiences. That's the thing about Carnival Cruise Line. They pretty much got you covered. You want a family cruise line? You want the white glove ultimate service? So they're all there. So it just depends on which. That's like when people ask me, what's the best cruise line? What's the worst cruise line? There really isn't one. It's what's the best ship for what you're trying to do, because Carnival has 20 some ships, Princess has 20 some ships, Holland America has like 12 ships. Cunard has the 4. So it's what is the best ship for the itinerary that you want to do. And that's how we work. We never even work, thinking about, cruise line. I will say that one of the best values at sea, in my opinion, is the Princess Plus Princess Premier program because of everything that's wrapped in it. A lot of people think, that's just a drinks package, but it's not. It's gratuities, drinks, Wi-Fi, desserts, casual meals, room service, Ocean Now delivery, Ocean Medallion. There's like 10 things that are wrapped up in the Princess Plus, and I think personally that is one of the best inclusive deals going at sea, or add-on package going at sea right now, other than when you step up to say like Virgin Voyages that has a lot wrapped in, where you start stepping up into the luxury lines. So in terms of value, I think Princess is one of the best values out there for sure.
And just for the record, the brands from Carnival Corporation are AIDA, Carnival, Costa, Cunard, Holland, P&O, Princess, and Seabourn.
Totally forgot about AIDA and Costa. You think we'd remember Costa with Margaritaville being the former Costa Atlantica, because we were just on there. So so that's a lot of cruise lines. So there is no best and worst with Carnival. It's just all different experiences. I really want to get on an AIDA ship, and I want to get on a Mein Schiff ship. Those are the two that I really want to get on. I see the Mein Schiff ships in there, and AIDA as well. And I'm thinking, it would be kind of neat to be a stranger in a strange land, because like Mein Schiff German is the primary language on there. And AIDA, certainly, I can't remember.
I think they're German too, I think.
Yeah, I think German is the primary language. But they look like beautiful ships, so I'd like to go on them. And I just think it'd be kind of neat to not be, the predominant language on the ship. Hey, Scott, good morning. Good morning. Alex, good morning. Now, if only Virgin Voyages can start building up a fleet to the speed of MSC. Nobody can build to the speed of MSC because MSC, one, is family owned, so they're a private company. And, they have the Mediterranean Shipping Company, which is the largest shipping company in the world. So while everybody else was losing money during the pandemic, they were making, boatloads of money, shiploads of money, if you will, because of shipping things all around. So nobody can keep up with MSC. MSC is probably going to be the largest cruise line in the world. And then don't forget Explorer. Oh my gosh, Explorer Journey. Those ships are incredible. Absolutely incredible as well. So that they're making a play for the luxury world right now, and they're doing a good job with it too. Stanley, speaking on Wi-Fi, is it worth it to get? We're going on Freedom in 3 weeks. That's totally up to you whether you want it. Everybody's getting Starlink. And the thing about Starlink on a cruise ship, yes, they promise, land-based speeds on a cruise ship, but that is based on 2 things. Well, really 3 things. One is where is the ship in relation to the satellites? Starlink is putting more and more satellites up there to get the coverage better. Two, if there's cloud cover, and especially if there's rain, that's going to affect the speed. And then it's the infrastructure within the ship itself and how many people are using it. So just because they put the Starlink antennas up there doesn't mean all of a sudden the whole ship's going to be running at 200 megabits per second download, because everything inside the ship also needs to be ripped out and redone. And, from what I understand, a lot of cruise lines aren't doing that. They might be putting in some new repeaters and some new systems like that, but maybe the cabling and things like they're leaving all the cabling alone. So there's so many factors. What I find that since the Starlink came on, it's not necessarily that everything is like blazing fast, but it's much more reliable. I can use the internet all day long. I can actually stream from the ship. I streamed from Symphony of the Seas. I streamed from the Icon of the Seas. But then the same cruise line, Scarlet Lady and the Valiant Lady. Scarlet Lady, I could stream all day long. Valiant Lady, we couldn't even start a stream. We tried it multiple times during the thing. It's exact same ship, really. Same cruise line, same service. Couldn't even stream. So what I find on the ships with the Wi-Fi these days is that it's much more reliable. I have to get it, and I purchased the highest speed because I work from the ships. So like at the end of last year, we were on a ship for about 6 or 7 weeks. For the end of last year, going into the beginning of this year, and
not the same ship, bunch of different ships.
Yeah, we were on a bunch of different ships, bunch of different cruises, and really had no problem with the Wi-Fi at all. It was just the Valiant Lady had issues for whatever reason, but then that was cleared up when we went back in January of this year. I was able to get on just fine, and all the speeds were good. So really, it's the reliability of it seems to be a lot better than it used to be. But there's still, it's still going to be inconsistent depending. And it all depends on how many people are using it and how good the system actually is on Freedom. We went through that situation on the Margaritaville Islander on the preview cruise where it just literally went out, just completely went out during the preview cruise. So for 2 days, we had no Wi-Fi. And that was killing us because we couldn't work with our client. We couldn't do anything. And so, but they did get that fixed. They have Starlink on the Margaritaville Islander now as well. And it seemed to be working a heck of a lot better once we got back on for the preview cruise. So Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi is not the same as being on land. It never is. And you can't get mad at, a lot of people get mad at it and things like that. And it's like, well, you're floating on a big hunk of steel and it's rocking and rolling and moving, and it might work and it might not work. I will say on the Brightline, it works really great. That Brightline train that we have here in Florida, oh man, that Starlink works really, really well on there. So good morning, Dave. How are you? Thank you for the kind words. Rick, can't wait 138 days until we are on the Sun Princess. Loving that.
Wait, what?
I don't know. Rick said 138 days.
No. Sun Princess? No, 97. Rick,
you're wrong. 97 days. What kind of calendar you got, man? You're adding days. That's the wrong way, Rick. Gotta go the other way. Oh, no, I know what it is. No, Rick is not on our group cruise.
Oh, well, there you go.
Rick is not on our group cruise. Or Rick is right. It's 138 days until he gets on the Sun Princess. That's right.
Rick, so we win.
Rick decided he didn't want to go with us. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Rick. That's right. He's got 138 days of the Sun Princess. We have how many days until
97.
97 days. So Rick, we're going to hide something on the Sun Princess when we go on. See if you can find it. Here's one of the things I love about Rick. Rick was telling us he served in the U.S. Navy, and he served on the USS Constellation, and he had booked himself a cruise on the Celebrity Constellation because he thought it would be fun to sail on the ship of the same name. I think that's fabulous, and I've been trying to talk Rebecca into maybe going with you guys, so you never know. We just might show up on the ship. So that'd be great. Texas man wants to know any issues from the fire on the Icon 2 months until you board. No, apparently it was just a small fire. They got it all under control. It didn't even seem to affect any guest operations. The ship has continued on its merry way. So to my knowledge, absolutely nothing. Bigger issues seem to be, Galveston with the hurricane. I mean, in the beginning, we weren't even talking about the U.S. even really having an issue. And then suddenly that barrel just took a turn. I saw that Carnival put out a notice for this weekend. Do not show up at the terminals earlier than your time because they actually have air conditioning issues. Like there's no air conditioning in the terminals themselves. So if you show up early, they're going to turn you away. I think the Royal Caribbean one is still working. I know Royal Caribbean had a lot of solar panels up on top. I don't know if they survived the storm or not. But that's the bigger issue right now is Galveston is still trying to reset themselves. The port is operating, but there are certainly some issues over there. But in terms of anything that happened on the Icon, I know it was a small fire. I know it was contained very quickly. Fire is always a scary thing. That is the scariest thing on any cruise ship. That's why you should never, ever, ever, ever smoke on your balcony ever. And if you are ever near a balcony and you smell the smoke coming from your neighbors or something like that, report it right away, because that is an incredibly dangerous situation. If you don't believe me, just look up Princess Balcony Fire and you will see the ship where somebody threw a cigarette over the side and ended up burning 100 cabins. So fortunately, nobody died, but it ended up burning 100 cabins. So Douglas, 328 days to the Norwegian Aqua, spreadsheeting a plan now. That is so much fun. So how many of you all do a spreadsheet, right, for your vacations, right? You start figuring out, well, which ship do we want? What itineraries do we want? What ports do we want? You start doing that whole spreadsheet thing. You get all excited. I know there's some of y'all out there to do this. But that is so much fun to do. That's one of the things that we really enjoy doing. I know Rebecca has always done the spreadsheet thing. We've been talking about going to Hawaii. We're trying to figure that out, whether that's still going to happen. We're talking about river cruises, doing some river cruises now. So yeah, we've got our spreadsheet kind of going and setting up things like that. But yeah, that is so much fun, right? To start just going, hey, what if? The ultimate spreadsheeter, it's going to be a reminder at 12 noon Eastern time today. I'm going to be on Gary Bembridge's show, Tips for Travelers on YouTube. There's a guy that probably has like the ultimate spreadsheet, over 100 cruises so far. He just did Viking in Alaska. It's going to be interesting to talk to him about his experience on Viking versus what we're going to be doing on Oceania next year, which should be a lot of fun. But yeah, spreadsheeting is awesome. I love it. But yeah, so we're trying to put together some plans right now for some more group cruises. We've been sending a lot of folks out on their very first cruise, which has been a lot of fun. We've had a couple of honeymoons come through, which has been awesome.
Anniversaries.
We have a wedding coming up in September on the Oasis of the Seas, of all things, over in Europe. They're going to be getting married somewhere in Italy. We're going to get off the ship in Italy and actually get married, but the whole wedding party is going over on the Oasis of the Seas. That's going to be fun. We recently had about 140 people go out on the Valiant Lady. So yeah, we've been having a lot of fun talking with you all. And I'm so glad that we can help you all. I always remind you all, and people are like, are your services really free? Yeah, our services are really free. We don't charge a dime. There has been a growing movement in the travel industry. Some of my colleagues are charging a planning fee or a cancellation fee or some of these other fees. The only time that we might charge a fee is with a very large group, and we're actually going to be assisting in planning the activities and this, that, and the other. There might be a small fee added on top for something like that. But for standard travel, no, we don't charge anything, and we just really enjoy sending you all out there. I live vicariously through a lot of you guys because you guys are going to places that I want to go, and I drive Rebecca nuts going, look at this one, let's go. So anyway, what else am I going to tell you about? Something that more people are asking me about now is the Northern Lights. We've been talking about the Northern Lights up in Norway, and one of our great partners is Hurtigruten up there. Absolutely amazing, and they have a whole bunch of variation that you can do to Northern Lights. And what's really cool is if you go on specific cruises between December and March, they guarantee that you're going to see the Northern Lights. Well, they guarantee that the Northern Lights will be visible. And if they're not visible, then you can come back and go on another cruise. And of course, there's terms and conditions that go with that. But it's pretty much a Northern Lights guarantee. So if you don't see them, you get to go on another cruise, which is really awesome. And then they have the truly ultimate, which is the Follow the Northern Lights tour. And that is a 17-day land sea adventure where you're going to go dog sledding. You're going to stay in the Igloo Hotel. You're going to go to Santa's Village. You're going to go to Santa's Village. You had me at Santa's Village. But it's fully escorted for 17 days. And that is like the ultimate. That's the one that I really, really would like to do. So that would be amazing. Jen's here. Good morning, Jen. How are you? So if Norway or the Northern Lights is on your itinerary or on your plans, this is really the way to go, Hurtigruten. And the thing is, their ships are so small that they go into fjords and they go into areas that nobody else can because they're bringing in the big white ships whereas Hurtigruten ships are, I don't know, a couple hundred. They're not very large at all. They're much smaller. And with the new rules coming into place, I think 2025 is going to be the last time that ships are going to be allowed into certain fjords unless they're hybrid powered, electric powered, which Hurtigruten already has a couple of ships that are hybrid powered. Plus, they're so small, and plus Hurtigruten is a like a national transportation system, so they have to keep running. So even when some of the big ships are going to go, the Hurtigruten ships are still going to be going into some of these areas because they're basically the lifeline of Norway to get people around. So if the Northern Lights or the Norwegian fjords are on your bucket list, definitely reach out because we need to get you on Hurtigruten, and I can't wait to get over there. So, oh my goodness, Greg, 69 days to your Celebrity Beyond ABC cruise. That is so awesome. What's ABC, you might ask? Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. And then 418 days until your Virgin voyages to Bruges. And now you're waiting on the 26 Disney schedule. Oh, yeah. So many people are waiting on 26. So many people are waiting on 2026. Now, 2026 is slowly starting to come out. Some cruise lines have them. Of course, Disney does their thing. We have a very set schedule. We're going to release things, right? I know Virgin Voyages, we've heard rumors that in August we could see the 2026, maybe even going into 2027. That could be coming out in August for everything except the Brilliant. The Brilliant, they're still working on the Alaska schedule. That's going to be very interesting. Hey, Tammy, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks so much for joining in. 2026, the cruise lines are getting a jump on certain things. So there's certain areas of the world that they're going ahead and releasing stuff early, just to start booking. In fact, I think we have a couple of 2027 world cruises that are currently booking right now or about to book. I just got a notice from Seabourn on one of them. No, I take that back. Silversea. It was Silversea. Cristiello on the Sun Princess. Which specialty experience dining are you most looking forward to? I got to say, the more I see about it, the more I'm actually really looking forward to Dario's. Rebecca's not going because Rebecca is not a meat eater. I'm really looking forward to Dario's, and I'm also looking forward to Spellbound to see what Spellbound is really all about. What about you, Rebecca?
I don't.
You don't know? She's just excited to get on the Sun Princess. That's all. She just wants to get on Sun Princess. Tex Man, you really enjoyed cruising on Christmas. You told your wife you'd cruise every year on Christmas. I'll tell you what, we have cruised like 5 or 6 times now for Thanksgiving. We love cruising for Thanksgiving because there's like no pressure, there's no issue, there's no, oh my God, is the turkey done? Oh my God, are the sides done? It's just like all that pressure goes out the window. Last year, with the first year, we did 12 nights. We were on the Oceana Serena for Christmas and New Year's. That was absolutely lovely. That's probably the most relaxed that we've been on a ship in a long time. It's only 650 passengers. So that was really, really nice. So there is something about being at sea over the holidays and the New Year's too. Yeah. Christmas was much less stressful too on a ship because, I mean, you're just on a ship. What are you going to do? Right. Gangsta just booked an 8-day to St. Martin on the Carnival Vista. Oh, you're going to have a blast. That's a great ship. Nice big ship. Got a lot of things to do on there. It's got the Havana Cabana, which is a lot of fun, which means you're going to have the Cuban coffee. Folks, I'm telling you, if you've not been on a Carnival ship with the Havana bar and tried that Cuban coffee, that to me is the best. That's the best coffee at sea. Right behind it would be the Grounds Club on Virgin Voyages, and then baristas on Oceana. Just so freaking good. Douglas Cole wants to know, do we do packages to Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg? We can. We do have partners. We can book all of the theme parks all around the world. We can book, yes, we can book Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. We don't really do a whole lot with that. Most of our land-based stuff is going to be the theme parks and then Europe. Although we have been talking to a few folks about the national parks. Our good friends at Colette have an amazing set of tours with the national parks here. But yeah, we can book. We can, pretty much anything you guys can think of. We represent something like 30, 35 or 40 cruise lines alone. But then we have, I don't know, around 20 plus land tour partners. But with KHM Travel Group, which is our host agency, I don't know how many hundreds of suppliers we have. We have a lot of suppliers that we're tied into. And that is one of the cool things about, being a part of a great host agency. There's a lot of respect in the industry, in the travel industry, for KHM Travel. And so, yeah, if pretty much if you can dream it and think it, I think even including space, we can pretty much book it. And if we can't, we've got some colleagues and friends at KHM Travel who can. We're more than happy to pass you off to one of them if they have the knowledge and expertise to get you there. So, oh, you sailed the Venezia last month. You absolutely loved her look, so you wanted to try the Vista. So that's a really interesting comparison. So the Carnival Venezia was the Costa Venezia. That's an Italian ship, Italian cruise line. So all Italian stylings. And I love that Carnival pretty much left the ship alone. Of course, they added their own twist into some areas, but that ship still looks very much like it did when Costa had it. Now, when you go onto the Carnival ship, it's going to be completely different. It is bizarre when you go onto the same ship and you see it two completely different ways. It's really bizarre to see that. We did that one time. I'm trying to, oh, no, we didn't do it. We were on the Carnival Mardi Gras, and then we watched a video on the P&O Iona, which is the same ship. And it was just so bizarre seeing the ship tour of the same thing and knowing, oh my God, it's like completely different inside. So yeah, that should be quite the that should be quite the difference going from the Venezia, which is basically a Vista class ship, and then going on over to the original Vista. That should be a lot of fun. Yeah, that's always fun when you go onto the same ship, but they're different. Like our good friends over at This Cruise Life, they've been on every Carnival ship, and they love the Spirit class especially. And the Margaritaville Islander is a Carnival Spirit class. It's the former Costa Atlantica, and they were just like, this is so cool to be on here. And in a lot of ways, they actually like the Margaritaville Islander more than they like the Carnival Spirit class, just in the way it was done up and all the amenities and everything on it. So yeah. Are we going to go on the Utopia? Yes. We don't know when yet, but yes, we are going to go on the Utopia. It's just an hour away. We just got to figure out when. There's a big event with KHM Travel happening here in Orlando in March, and there's like a whole bunch of agents that are all just going to go on together. We might just run down there some weekend just to go try it out. I really want to get into Pesky Parrot. For those who have never been on a Voyager class ship with Royal Caribbean, that would be the Mariner, the Adventure, the Navigator. There is a bar on some of them called the Bamboo Bar in the Promenade, the Royal Promenade. And it is just my favorite little bar. It's a little kitschy tiki bar. Well, on the Utopia, they have the Pesky Parrot, which is a big version of that bar. So I really want to go in there. There's a bunch of my fellow agents who are either on it now or about to get on it. And I've asked them all to go check out the Pesky Parrot and tell me how it is. But hopefully, I'm actually going to be in Cleveland in a couple of weeks for a week. I'm going to be visiting our home offices up in Cleveland for a week of training. And maybe between then and getting on the Sun Princess in October, maybe we'll make a run down to Port Canaveral just to go check it out. I still think it's a little odd having a Oasis class ship come out after the Icon. And apparently there might be another one, which to me is just kind of odd. The thing that I didn't like about the Oasis class, and I'm hoping that maybe they addressed it with this one, was that there's just a lot of dead ends. You're kind of walking along and it's like, oh, well, now we got to go down or we got to go up. We just can't keep on walking. And on the Icon, they really did away with that. There's much more flow. There's more, when you're walking on deck 6 above the promenade, you don't just suddenly have to go down or go up. You can just continue to walk all the way across. Getting from Central Park to the back of the ship is much easier. You can walk from the promenade, Pearl Cafe. You can walk straight up to Central Park. There's a lot of things that they did on the Icon that I like in terms of the flow. I'm kind of hoping that maybe the Utopia addressed some of that. I know they brought Izumi in the park to that ship, which is an Icon feature. And
they have the elevators from the Icon.
They have the smart elevators in there.
Mm-hmm. Which in this case worked amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, on those ships, they actually work. And I'm kind of wondering if they have any kind of a camera system in the lobby, because with smart elevators, technically, you're supposed to push the button for every single person that's in your party. But, when you push the button, you've got to wait for the thing to, it says A, and you got to wait for that to go away, and then you push it again. What it really should do is when you get to it, it should say how many guests in your party. You punch that in first, and then tell it what floor you want to go to, and then have the elevator assign you to it. But, I was having a discussion with somebody else saying, well, with a smart elevator, you got to tell it how many people. And I'm like, well, you can't, because it just takes too long. So, yeah, I definitely want to go on there. Real gangsta cruises aren't easy for you. You live in Knoxville, so you got to fly and then cruise. And yes, that does add up fast. But hey, flying from Knoxville to Florida or to Texas, certainly a lot cheaper than going over to Europe. So, but yeah, I mean, it does add up. And especially with the flights today, some of the flights are just stupid. You're just like, wait, why does it cost this much just to go there? It's like that. It shouldn't cost that much. So yeah, now we've got some clients actually in the Nashville, Knoxville area, also some in Memphis as well. So yeah, no, I hear you. Text man, what's the differences in Oasis and Icon classes? Oh, that's a great question. Well, first of all, the Icon has that massive water park in the back. Nobody else has a water park like that. The Icon has the Aquadome up front, which is more than, a lot of people think it's just the Aqua Theater, but it's not. It's the whole glass section is actually in front of the Aqua Theater. And it is absolutely mesmerizing. The first time you see it, it will take your breath away, how beautiful that space is. And that's kind of nice too, because they took the Aqua Theater. It's not in the back anymore. Now it's all the way up in the front. So that completely changed the back of the ship. Now you've got, instead of the boardwalk back there, you've got Surfside, which is a family-friendly space versus being a big, loud sports bar, all of that at night. It kind of gets very quiet at night, because you don't have all those late night activities going on back there. The flow, as I mentioned earlier, the flow is it's much improved. It's much easier to walk back and forth along the ship. The Pearl Cafe replaces the Cafe Promenade, and it is like a 1,000 time improvement over what the Cafe Promenade is, just in terms of the shape, the way it is, the big glass windows looking out, the layout of it. The Icon feels more like an adult ship than a family ship. It has all that family stuff in there, but just the feel of it, the flow of it, the look of it, it feels, you can feel celebrity throughout it. Celebrity is the adult centric line for Royal Caribbean. There are influences of celebrity everywhere on the ship. So it's more adult. It also has the dueling piano bar on there. You've got more food venues upstairs. Central Park now has the jazz club out there, which is great. Love it. Surfside is really adorable. It really, really is adorable. You have escalators going downstairs. You have an actual like lobby area to go off and onto the ship, similar to the Edge class on Celebrity. So yeah, there's a lot of improvements on the Icon class, and Icon also introduced the infinite balconies, which are a signature now of the Edge class from Celebrity. So they introduced that infinite balcony. The love-hate relationship out there with them. I kind of like them. I want to stay in one. I was kind of hoping that we would have stayed in one during our preview, but we need to get back onto the ship. The other thing, since we're talking so much about Royal Caribbean, we do have friends and family rates on the Icon. The Icon, we do actually have like a couple hundred sailings, or maybe 100 sailings, where we have friends and family rates. Nothing for Utopia yet, because it's so new. But I think we have about eight different ships that we have friends and family rates on right now. Very specific sailings and all double occupancy, no triples or quads. But if you're interested in sailing on some of these ships, and you can go, and your departure times are flexible, you can reach out. The list is changing every single week. Ships come on, ships go away, ships come on, ships go away. Any from New Jersey or Baltimore. If you're talking about the friends and family rate, I know Bayonne is on there. I don't know if Baltimore is on there. But then again, it changes literally like week to week. So it just depends on the week you check in with me, what might be available. But I know at Icon, there's a lot of Icon sailings on there for sure. Good morning, Barbara. How are you? Good to see you. Thanks so much for reaching out. That is one of the things that as a travel advisor, we do get. We do get some special rates. Sometimes there's group space available. I just booked somebody on a fabulous 21-day round trip transatlantic. This is going to be so much fun. This is for the solar eclipse in 2026. She's going to be on the Queen Mary 2. She will leave from New York, sail 7 days over to Southampton. Then from Southampton, it will be a 14-day Northern Europe plus transatlantic and they will be in Iceland on August 12th, 13th for the solar eclipse in 2026. She'll end up right back in New York. And that one, we saved her something like $2,000 because there happened to be group space from our consortium on the ship. So I was able to save her about $2,000 on that sailing. So that's another way, you know, where we can get you pricing, good pricing too. Sometimes. Now, sometimes you give up stuff. You know, like on Princess, anytime that I pull a group package, the Princess Plus is not in there. So then you've got to add the Princess Plus on top of it. But yeah, so because we're part of KHM Travel Group, which is our host agency, and then that is part of a consortium on top of that. Sometimes there's special rates there too. And Royal Caribbean issues new friends and family rates every single week. So the ships come on, ships go off. So yeah, anytime you want to do that, but I can tell you there are a lot of Icon sailings on there. And I know I've seen Icon, you know, less than $4,000 for 2 people in a balcony, which for the Icon is really, really good. So yeah, so if you're interested in anything like that, you just got to reach out. I don't know what those sailings are. You got to reach out and ask, because I need to pull up the form and see what it is. But yeah, we'd be more than happy to help. And of course, you know, if you have, let's see, we're coming up on the top of the hour. So I'll just remind everybody, we are Where's Walter Travel. We're your independent travel advisor, and we're happy to help out in any way we can. Our services are 100% free. We do cruise, land, luxury, and expedition. Pretty much anything you can think of, we probably represent it. And if we don't, one of our colleagues at Where's Walter Travel at KHM Travel will. So we're happy to hand that out to you, hand you off to some of our colleagues as well, or just confer with our colleagues. That's one of the things I really love about KHM Travel. We all help each other. And it's just so wonderful. In fact, we have a new agent who just joined on this week. I met up with them on the Margaritaville Island. It was so cool to meet them and then find out that, hey, they're actually coming to join KHM. It's super cool. Karuna, you're prone to vertigo attacks. So then you definitely got to be careful. Certainly like on a cruise ship, if you are like standing on the edge of a balcony and looking down, because they are very, very tall.
Skyscrapers, basically.
Yeah. Are there any river cruises that we recommend? Yes. There's so many out there. You know, you got the Danube, you got the Rhine, you got Christmas markets, you've got Portugal, you got Egypt, you've got there's like so many, and then right here in America, you've got the Mississippi, you got the Snake River Canyon. So yes, just depends on what you're looking for. And there's about 12 or 15 primary river cruise lines that we work with that are really good. AMA, Avalon, Uniworld, Viking, of course. I'm leaving off some. Tauk is out there.
Emerald, Scenic.
Yeah,
Riverside.
Out there. So it's just like any other cruise. It's where do you want to go? When do you want to go? And then we look at, well, what's available during that time. And then based on that, we'll present you usually with 3 choices, maybe 4 choices based on your criteria. And then we just work from there. That's really how it is. So there's no river cruise that I recommend. Is which one suits the bill for you. We have booked quite a few of them, and no 2 are really alike. I mean, the Christmas market ones are very, very similar. You know, whether you're going to go on the Danube, you're going to go on the Rhine. So they're pretty much the same. They're all going to be the same. You're going to start in like Amsterdam, go to Budapest.
Not really. There's different ones.
Well, yeah. But a lot of the stops are very, very similar because there's only so many Christmas markets out there. So it just depends on what you're looking for. And, you know, of course, budget comes into play there as well. Now, one of the really cool things about river cruises is that there is a lot of solo occupancy on them. In fact, Riviera Cruise Line, they have entire cruises that are just solo, singles cruises, like 40 departures or something like that. So when it comes to solo cruising, you know, in ocean cruising, sometimes it can be hard for us to find you a really good deal. But in river cruising, they really are open to solo travelers, and they offer some really good deals for solo travelers over there. So for those of you who are watching who are solo travelers, river cruising, it's a great way to go. It's an absolutely great way to go. Alex, how far in advance can we book the consortium deals? As long as they're up. You know, when they're on, when they're up there and available, that's all. I just have to go in and look. A lot of times with the cruise lines, when I go into the booking engine, they will show up. They'll say, you know, I'll see the code shows up that the deal is there. And then I also have a spreadsheet that I can go look at.
And not all of them save quite as much as your one example.
Right. The 2,000 off, that was because it's like 2 years in advance right now. And that just happened to be, you know, it was a balcony category that she wanted. So you never know what it is. Sometimes the deal is just simply onboard credit with a shore excursion and a welcome party. Maybe that's all it is. In this particular case, they had also locked in a price. So I was able to get her a good price as well. So yeah, it just all depends on what's going on. And then, you know, we're going to start grabbing group space more with some of these cruise lines as well, so that, say, when the next round of Utopia comes out, we can go ahead and grab a block of cabins. And as the price goes up on that ship, our cabins will hold the same. That's how on the Oceania Riviera right now with our Alaska cruise, our prices are $1,000, around 1,000-ish less than the public price, because it was 8 months ago that we locked in the pricing. So, and same thing with the Norwegian Aqua. Gosh, we haven't even talked about the Norwegian Aqua today. I don't even have a slide for it. The Norwegian Aqua, we have balcony cabins that are around, actually, gosh, like upwards of $1,500 less than the public pricing, something like that. Because the Aqua has really climbed in price quickly, and our prices were locked in. So that is one of the cool things that we can do, things like that. Sometimes we can book into groups that some of our fellow agents have done as well. You know, we can reach out to them and say, hey, I see you've got a group. Can I take one of the cabins? And if they say yes, we can book that in as well. So yeah, there's all kinds of things that we can do. And then sometimes the cruise lines themselves are offering, you know, special deals just for us. We've had Norwegian Cruise Line allow us to book with prepaid gratuities, and that's just for, you know, KHM Travel, that we can do that. And there's just all kinds of things going on. And of course, if you want to form a group, groups are so easy. Groups are just like 8 to 16 people, super easy to do. And a lot of people don't realize that, sometimes there can be savings involved. Sometimes there's special amenities that we can get, but it doesn't have to be anything big. Some people seem to think that a group cruise has to be 100, 200 people. Just 8 to 10 cabins, usually. That's it. So if you've got a group of folks that like to cycle together, maybe you like to crochet together, puzzling together. I've always thought a cruise ship would be a really cool spot for your fantasy drafts. Let's get a whole bunch of people together and do a big fantasy draft on a ship, especially like a Royal Caribbean ship. You got Playmaker Sports Bar right there. Oh gosh, that would be so much fun. So that's a thing too that I've been talking to a lot of people about, and they're not realizing just how small it has to be a group in order to take advantage of some of these amenities. Or if you have a company and you want to do a company retreat, or you want to go somewhere and do an incentive trip, or just take everybody away, instead of taking them to a hotel, you can take them onto a cruise ship, and there's so much included that it ends up being, you know, a much more cost-effective trip. So, yeah. So there is that hot and muggy out there. We're in Orlando, and it has gotten so hot. When it cools down again, we'll go back outside, because I do like sitting out there on the sun porch. But for now, we're sitting inside, and those are pictures from our cruises sitting behind me. Some of y'all can see them, some of y'all can't. But yeah, so whenever we go on our cruises, I like to, well, I haven't taken my camera as much. Maybe I'll bring it on the Sun Princess so I can start taking some more pictures out there. But I do love taking these pictures, and then I get them printed at Costco. Which is now Shutterstock, right?
Yes,
something like that.
Yeah, you can't actually do it through. I mean, it's kind of through Costco, but.
Hey, Teach Me just got back from the Islander. Great week. Your favorite was Ellie, the pianist that bubbles up. I'm telling you, the Islander is a lot of fun. Take everything that you know about Margaritaville from the Paradise and just throw it out the window, because the Islander is a totally different experience. And two of the big surprises on the Margaritaville Islander are the Bubbles Up, which is your champagne bar that has a mango margarita, and then the Hemisphere Dancer bar, which is right below it, which is a beautiful craft spirits bar. The Hemisphere Dancer especially is extremely popular at night, and that kind of surprised me, because it does have some of the more pricier drinks, but that was just jamming every single night. Yeah, Teach Me saying the staff was amazing. The staff is really, really good. It is a fun ship, and I bet by now they're really getting their groove on, because we were there right in the beginning, so they were still trying to figure out things. I bet by now they've really got their groove on. Everything is moving much better. Oh, actually, a question for you, Teach Me. How was the embarkation? Because one of the things that is way beyond Margaritaville's control is they actually have the largest ship that is home port in Tampa, about 2,700 passengers, and they're in the smallest terminal, which is Terminal 6. Beyond their control. So during embarkation, you do have to bring patient pants with you, because you have to, they're going to close the building during embarkation because of fire marshal rule. And there's nothing Margaritaville can do about that. That is the limit of the building. So during embarkation, you got to have patience, because the building's going to close from time to time. I highly recommend getting the express pass if you're booking a standard ticket or if you're booking a standard room on Margaritaville Islander. I recommend getting the express pass. So Teach Me saying, oh, embarkation was fine, disembark was a mess, but that was on the Port of Tampa not clearing them. And that will happen, if they're not clearing them. And again, you've got the biggest ship with the smallest terminal trying to get everybody off. So once again, patience. If you don't have to get off that ship right away, if there's no particular reason for you to get off that ship right away, I would just hang out and let the crowd go. That's what I would definitely do, because it's also a situation where they kind of let everybody kind of mash up like near the disembarkation, the security area. So yeah, they still got to work on that disembark a bit, even themselves. I think they can mitigate it a little bit more, but they'll learn. They'll get it figured out eventually. Barbara just ordered some Hey Dude shoes for your Islander cruise with us. I can't wait. That's going to be so much fun. Again, I've got it up on the screen on the YouTube side, where we've got a Valentine's cruise happening February 11th through the 17th on the Margaritaville Islander. We're going to Key West, Progresso, and Cozumel. We have incredible group rates that do include prepaid gratuity. If you are married or you just want to partake in it, we're going to have a captain's vow renewal ceremony probably on February 13th, because that's a sea day, but maybe the 14th, depending on when we're going to leave Cozumel. We're hoping to put together some sort of a Jimmy Buffett history tour in Key West, and we may have one or two group activities on the ship, but this is not going to be a wall-to-wall, hey, we're doing group stuff all the time. No, because we want you to come on the ship. We just want you to enjoy the ship, have a good time. But we will have some group activities, with the biggest one being the captain's vow renewal ceremony. We're already one-third we're around one-third already sold out on this. I can get a few more cabins if I sell out, but if you want to join us, you certainly want to join in sooner than later. So hi, Betty. Hi, Peggy. Good to see you guys. Samuel, good morning. Is there any new information about the previously mentioned coffee tour in San Juan? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had sent something to everybody on, he's talking about our Sun Princess group cruise. That is not happening because there are no tours that day. There's only one place that's doing it on that particular day, and it's about a 2-hour drive. So it's like 4 hours round trip. So we decided to nix that. We may go ahead and just put out a poll and see if everybody would like to do a food tour, and maybe just go ahead and lead a food tour, go out with flavors of San Juan. And I've actually been meaning to write out to everybody and see if all y'all want to do that. We can go ahead and set that up. Flavors of San Juan is a great food tour. They also have a rum runners tour. They have a history tour. They have some other tours as well. But the coffee tour is off only because it was going to be 4 hours a round trip. And even with a 14-hour port stop, it's just like, 2 hours to get out there.
A lot of time in a bus.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, Venture Ashore, who was working on this, said, "Look, this is a plantation we've never worked with, a coffee plantation we've never worked with, so we can't even guarantee exactly like what the level of the tour is going to be, and we're not going to have time to go see it before you guys get there. So we're just like, you know what? We'll go with Flavors of San Juan instead. That'll just be a lot of fun. We know them. We know they're fabulous." And they have other tours as well. So you just reminded me. I'll send out an email blast to everybody today and see if y'all want to do a Flavors of San Juan food tour. That's going to be really, really good. So thank you. Teach Me, it messed up the express disembark for those who were meeting in Fins. The regular line was beyond the casino. Oh, that's interesting. That's completely the opposite of what they did with us. So they actually had us meet in Far Side of the World, up in the front of the ship. So it sounds like they moved the Express to Fins because we were lined up beyond the casino. So it sounds like you're talking about the Margaritaville Islander. When we were on, we were actually up in the Far Side of the World, and we were lined up all the way through the casino, and then everybody else was just kind of at the bottom of the stairs. So it sounds like now they're moving everybody else up to Far Side of the World and coming through, which is actually a better system than how it was when we were on the ship. So now it sounds like the Priority Express disembark is going to be coming out of Fins, which is interesting. They really need 2 gangways, but I don't think they can set up 2 gangways. They can't. In fact, I know they can't. That, again, that is part of being in the smallest terminal. So the worst part of your Margaritaville cruise is probably going to be getting onto and getting off of the ship in Tampa. Not a whole lot they can do about that at this time. They really need 2 gangways to get off that ship because it is so big, but they don't have access to the other terminals. I know Port of Tampa is talking about they're going to put over $1 million into the infrastructure just for Margaritaville. So hopefully, you know, that's going to come on board, but that takes time, right? That's going to take a lot of time. It's not like it's going to happen in the next few weeks. That'll happen in the next 2 years. And Margaritaville is talking about a fleet of ships. So we already know there's a third one there's a third one being looked at right now. It's another Costa ship. So definitely going to have 3 ships sooner than later. They're talking about a whole fleet of them, and these ships can go through the Panama Canal. So that opens up. Yes, you know, when I mentioned a Panama Canal cruise, it was like, yeah, probably something like that. At least, you know, a partial canal or all the way through the canal. Why not? Could there be West Coast Mexican Riviera cruises? Why not? Margaritaville is going to be aggressive. They're going to come on strong. They're not going to grow to Royal Caribbean level, but they could be a nice alternative to you know, some of the other cruise lines out there. I don't know if they're going to be that cruise line that you go on every single time, but certainly, as you know, with the price point that they're at, oh my gosh, you're going to have so much fun on that ship. Music is great. Cheeseburgers are great. The pizza is great. Royal Caribbean, I'm looking at you. The pizza was great on Margaritaville. The Bubbles Lounge, the bars were great. Hey, there's 13 margaritas on the ship. You can go to all 13 bars. That's the other cool thing about the ship. You go to all 13 bars, they all have their own menu, and they purposely did that. So, you know, when you go to each bar, yeah, they're all there. A lot of them are going to make some of the same drink, but they all have their own drinks, which is great. Absolutely great. And I actually had a really good pina colada at the Flip Flop bar right there in the atrium. It was absolutely awesome. So, hey, Cindy, how are you? Rick, hey, the JWB Steakhouse on the Islander, after seeing Mark and Rocky's video, you want to try it. So my good friends, Mark and Rocky at This Cruise Life, they stayed on the Islander another week after we left, and they had the one of the dinner packages. So one of the things about the Margaritaville Islander, they have a whole mess of packages. They've got drink packages, drink and dining packages, spa packages. Too many packages, honestly. But they had one of those dining packages that allowed you to get dinner at all the restaurants. And they went to the JWB Steakhouse, and it was impressive. It was really impressive. So we didn't do it on our last cruise. We're definitely, or at least I'm doing it on this next one for sure. But it looks absolutely amazing. So yeah, JWB Steak. So your 2 upcharge restaurants on the ship is going to be the JWB Steakhouse upstairs, and then the Far Side of the World has Far Side Sushi, which we did a review on as well, and $10 rolls. $10 rolls. I mean, it's such a good price. Really good food. I was really impressed. It's kind of a weird venue because it's so big. I'll be curious to see if they move it eventually to maybe like a little bit more intimate spot, but I don't really know where they'd move it to. But it's the Far Side of the World, which during the day is a lot of family events, a lot of family-friendly games and things like that. And then at night, the Far Side of the World sushi comes on. I'd love to see them open that for lunch on sea days. That would be fabulous. And same thing with the JWB. It'd be kind of cool to see them open that for lunch on sea days.
And they also have the stuff in the adult area, the Tiki Grill and the what's the other one?
Yeah, the
called?
Island Eats. So Island Eats and Tiki Grill are also upcharge venues. They are in. There's one adult only area on the Margaritaville Islander. That's at the very back of Deck 9. It's the Tiki Pool, Tiki Bar, and then Island East on one side, Tiki Grill's on the other side. And little secret for everybody out there, in the morning for breakfast, the Tiki Grill side actually has a buffet breakfast out there that is not an upcharge. It's part of the buffet. A lot of people don't know it's back there, and so the buffet can be kind of crowded. You go back there, and it's a little quieter. Now, one of the big tips about the breakfast as well, Frank and Lola's Pizza makes made-to-order omelets that are some of the best omelets I've had made at sea. They're really, really good. And the Mexican Cutie Cantina, they make breakfast burritos. So in the morning, if you want something different, I will say the Margaritaville Islander buffet is not the most inspiring thing in the world. It kind of reminds me more about going on like a Carnival or Norwegian. I don't think those are very inspiring either. But the omelets at Frank and Lola's are really, really good, and the breakfast burritos are really, really good. Philip Blue, how's it working with casino offers and working with us? We don't really do the casino offers unless it's an established client. Yeah, because there's just from a purely business perspective, there's very little in it for us to even do it. Sometimes there's nothing at all in it for us. So if it's an established client that we already have and we're booking other travel with them, yeah, we can book the casino offers. But honestly, just for us from a business perspective, the cruise line is getting all the money from you for the casinos. And as somebody who used to work in a casino, one of the largest casinos in the world, I used to work for Foxwoods Resort Casino. I did the marketing up there for 2 years. I can tell you that the house always wins, and you are paying way more for your cabins than most other folks are who actually book their staterooms directly for the most part. And I've seen some of the numbers, and the numbers aren't even close. Folks who are getting free resort rooms, folks who are getting free hotel rooms, things like that, you guys are paying a lot more, and they're so happy to have you on the ships. So with the casino offers, it's much better just to go ahead and work directly with the casino department on the cruise lines. I know some of my fellow agents will work with those casino offers. But then again, like I said, if you are an established client, we're already working with you, yes. But if you're calling in new and you want to start working with you on casino offers, just from a purely business perspective, it's much better for the cruise lines, not good for us.
Although there are some casino offers that you have to go through the casino department, depending.
Yeah.
There's a few of those.
But yeah, just from a purely, because, again, we don't charge for it. Now, if we charge for our services, we wanted to charge you $100 planning fee just to book that casino offer, then that would be different. But we don't want to charge for our services. We're trying very hard not to do that. That is a growing trend in the industry, that travel agents are starting to charge, a planning fee, a cancellation fee, a this fee, that fee. The only time that we might charge a fee would be if we were booking a large group cruise, and we're also going to manage the activities and manage some of the events and the scheduling and all of that, then yeah, we would tack on some sort of a planning fee. But right now we don't charge a fee, so we earn commission. And with the casino offers, sometimes there's very, very little or nothing there. Yeah, you're welcome, Philip. Always happy to help out, if we can help you in any way with your travels. But with the casino offers, yeah, you're just better off staying with the cruise lines directly. But once you're an established client, absolutely. We have booked casino offers for some of our clients in the past. And, it's actually, since we're talking about that, it's kind of the same thing with the flights, too. There's a reason why most agents these days don't even book your flights anymore, because there's literally nothing in it for us.
Zero commission.
Zero. The airline stopped working with travel agents years ago. So there's literally zero.
Decades ago.
Yeah, so there's literally zero commission for travel agents, and that's why a lot of travel agents don't want to be bothered with flights. We do it as a value-add service. If we're booking your cruise or we're booking your land vacation, or a big travel package, we'll do it as a value-add service for you, because we want to take care of all of your needs. But yeah, a lot of people are shocked. They're like, "Hey, can I just call you to book a flight?" And it's like, nope. If you want to have it as part of a whole package, yeah, we'll do that. But just to book a flight. And airlines just cut all the commissions out years ago. And
honestly, most of the time you can probably get a better price on your own.
Yeah.
So we do what we can, but.
Right. Like, I'm happy to get you pricing and all that stuff, but most of our clients anymore will book their own flights. A lot of y'all have points anyway. You have points with this, you got points with that. So we book a lot of the hotels for sure, but more and ground transfer. That's actually the biggest, probably one of the biggest growing aspects of our business is the ground transfers. Y'all are, especially over in Europe, y'all have a better sense of security when we arrange the ground transfers, because our drivers are going to be waiting either at baggage claim or they're going to be waiting right outside of customs. So you don't even have to leave the airport. You don't have to go anywhere. Your driver's right there. That's also true of the U.S. The drivers will be waiting inside the airport for you. They will not be just pulling up in a car. So that's been a growing part of our business, because the Uber, the Lyft, they are fabulous. That is what we use a lot. But sometimes, when you walk out there, it's like 400 people all waiting, right? So now you're waiting a long time for that car to show up. And yes, it costs more to have a private car show up, but some folks are like, you know what? I'd rather pay for the private car and have that driver like literally standing there waiting for me. It's just kind of a nice thing, right? You just walk out and like, oh, there it is. I don't have to even worry about it. So that's actually been a growing amenity that we've been adding for more and more of our clients, especially those going to Europe, just getting that security, peace of mind that there's going to be a car waiting for them and they don't have to deal with anything. So yeah, I've been loving that. All right, what time is it now? It's 11:15 on the East Coast. I hope you all are doing well. Again, we're going to be wrapping up at the bottom of the hour, because I'm going to be on Gary Bembridge's show, Tips for Travelers, at 12 noon Eastern time on YouTube. So certainly come over and check out that discussion. He has been a great friend of just a great personal friend of mine for a while, even before we started Where's Walter Travel. And we are one of 2 travel agencies that he recommends in the United States. So that's pretty cool. I really want to meet the other. I think his name is Greg. I really want to meet him. One of the cool things about being a travel agent is meeting my fellow travel agents out there. There really is. Yes, there's competition between it, but there's not really, because it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry. So it's more about helping each other and helping the client. Is really what it's all about. And that's what I love about KHM Travel. It truly is a family atmosphere. And in 2 weeks, you're going to see me from Cleveland. I'm going to be bringing you up to Cleveland to show you what it's all about up there, and some of the great folks behind us in support. What else is going on right now, Rebecca? What is going on? I saw all these stories. The Galveston.
Oh, they had the big pizza party on Princess.
They did, and they set the world record. They set the world record for the most pizzas served in multiple venues. Like, how do they come up with this stuff? If you haven't seen, they have done a partnership with Tony G something or other. He is a multi-time pizza champion, and they have tag teamed with him. So they're bringing new recipes to Alfredo's Pizzeria, starting with the Sun Princess that will be on in October. So I can't wait to taste some of those pizzas. And they said they did a world record thing where they served the most pizzas at the same time at multiple venues, and it is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. So that's all going to be coming. Adele, what's the name of the YouTube channel? It is called Tips for Travelers. Travelers is spelled with 2 L's. I guess that's how they do it over in Europe. But it's Tips for Travelers. You can also look up Gary Bembridge. He's a super nice guy. And so I'll be over there. That man has been on well over 100 cruises. He is the king of all YouTubers when it comes to cruising. And we have just been very honored. Actually, I'm just very honored just to be a friend. It's so cool. Forget the whole business thing, forget the whole YouTube channel thing. I'm just honored to be a friend. And it's just really, really cool. Very blessed to know him, very blessed to have him as a supporter. So, yes, we'll be over there at 12 noon Eastern time today talking. I don't know what we're going to be talking about. He hasn't told me. We're just
surprise.
I think it's just going to be a conversation, and it's going to be really interesting too, because he's in England, he's in London, so a lot of his audience comes from Europe. It's going to be interesting with the conversation. Trying to get Gary to come on to Margaritaville. Told Gary him and Mark should come on to Margaritaville and renew their vows, and he kind of laughed. So Alex is saying that he does not like flying into Miami because the Uber Lyft line is a mess. That's true of a lot of airports, even here in Orlando. I've seen that as well. I don't know, Alex. He's saying I should go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't know if I'm going to have time because we have a very busy. I'm going up there to do training. I really want to go to Melt, even more so than going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I want to go to Melt, which is just famous for their grilled cheeses. Oh, that's where I really want to go. And then I would go to Ralphie's house before I go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But yeah, I'm hoping that we have some time. I'm hoping that we have some time to do that kind of stuff. I know we're going to Top Golf. I know we're doing some other things, and so many of our travel partners are coming in. I'll have a whole series of content where you're going to get to meet some of the amazing folks that I get to work with. And one of the biggest advantages of working with a travel advisor is that, you know, I have actual direct people that I can call and that I can talk to when things, you know, happen. We can't always solve every problem, but, you know, recently, I don't know if I've even told this story, but recently the Valiant Lady actually saved the life of one of my clients. They had a respiratory issue where their lungs were just filling up with food because they have a feeding tube, and the lungs were just filling up with food. And Valiant Lady actually saved my client. And I don't even remember where I was going with that now, but it was absolutely incredible that the Valiant Lady did that. Man, I'm totally blanking on where I was going with that. What was I talking about before that? I don't even know. Rebecca's throwing up her hands. I'm so sorry. I was starting to tell that story, but a thank you. I will say a thank you to the Valiant Lady medical crew who did that. They got him off the ship in Cozumel, and he was recuperating in Cozumel for about 2 weeks, and I think they finally got home. So how do you become a cruise director for Royal Caribbean? You start out by getting a job with Royal Caribbean for sure. I will tell you that most of the cruise directors that I've seen I was talking about working with other travel peeps. Okay, yeah. Oh, I was talking about, okay, that's what it was. Thank you, Barbara. First, I'll answer the other question. So how do you become a cruise director? Most of the cruise directors that we have seen on the ship all seem to start in the entertainment world somehow. You know, they were a theater major or they worked in entertainment somehow. That seems to be where they gravitate from. But one of the places to start actually is LinkedIn. LinkedIn has job postings from all of the cruise lines too. So that would be the best way to get started.
And you certainly don't come in as a cruise director.
No. But you can start on the cruise director staff.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, most of them come from an entertainment background. So I would start on LinkedIn and start looking at the jobs that are posted in there. Plus, every single cruise line has a job posting board. So go in there. So my story with Royal Caribbean, with Valiant Lady and saving my client's life, where that was leading to, first of all, the medical crew truly did save his life. The hospital in Cozumel said without their work, he probably would not have made it. And, you know, that caused some major issues with the cruise. It also caused a major issue with another cruise. We were well beyond, any
Final
kind
payment.
of refund or anything like that. And we didn't get a refund for him, but we did get some consideration. And I was only able to do that because of my contacts and explaining the story and all of that. And so we do go to bat with you. We can't always win. We can't always get you things. This was a very extreme circumstance, and they did work with us to try to do a little something for them. So, yeah. So that I think that I guess what I was leading to with that is working with a travel advisor. We have contacts that we're able to call and that we're able to reach out to and try to go to bat for you guys, you know, when we can. Any experience? Thank you, Barbara, for that, by the way. Any experience with the Discovery Princess to the Mexican Riviera tips? Just the Mexican Riviera in general. Ensenada, not a very pretty place. If you're going to do anything in Ensenada, I would do it with the cruise line. I would not go walking off on your own. You can see Stephanie from the Shawn and Stef channel did some vlogs from there. And you can see why. It's not a very pretty place.
Well, she did. It wasn't this Discovery Princess, though.
No. But she's asking about the Mexican Riviera. So Discovery Princess as a ship, beautiful. It's a royal class ship. Oh my God, absolutely beautiful. We did the Sky Princess. You can. You're on TikTok. I have a whole playlist on the Sky Princess. It's her sister ship. Also on YouTube, I have a whole playlist up there as well. But that's the big one. Is in Ensenada, I would do only cruise line excursions. Beyond that, where are you going? You might go to
Cabo San Lucas.
Cabo. And there's one more.
Mazatlan and
oh yeah, Mazatlan. That's the other one.
Yeah.
So no real tips on any of those particular places, but on the Discovery Princess, I can tell you, Alfredo's Pizza is absolutely amazing. The shows are great. Princess Plus, I've talked about that before. I think the Princess Plus is the best add-on package of any cruise line out there. Make sure you really look at what all's included. Don't just assume that it's a drinks package. It's not just a drink package. There's a lot more included with it. She's a lovely ship. The shows are fabulous. I love the shows on Princess, and the pools are amazing. Sabatini's is usually our go-to, like the Sabatini's Italian. I'll say that the Crown Grill blew us away on the Sky Princess. It was a really good restaurant. So, but the biggest tip for the Mexican Riviera itself would be Ensenada do a cruise. So, Miss Sponge, if you became a travel agent by any chance, will that increase my chances of being able to cruise more? If you can afford it, sure. It's not like we get to travel for free all the time or anything. Some people just have this assumption that, oh, you're a travel agent, you get to travel for free. Nope. We pay for a lot of our cruises, most of our cruises.
Sometimes it's a discounted rate, but we still have to pay.
You can get a travel agent rate depending on the sailing. Like if you're flexible, depending on the sailing, you can get a travel agent rate. Like with Margaritaville, they invited us onto the preview. With the Icon, they invited us onto the preview. So you do get some of those, but you're still going to be paying for your flights and your hotel and all that other stuff. So yeah, I mean,
the cruise itself, you're still paying for.
Still paying for stuff on the ship. Like it's not 100% free. You're still going to be paying at least port fees and taxes. You're going to be paying for the specialty dinners, your coffees, your drinks, all that good stuff. So yeah, as long as you can afford it and you got the time. We cruised for almost 6 weeks at the end of last year on 6 or 7 different ships, something like that. So Amber, Carnival Sunshine. Yes, good ship, fun ship, really fun ship. Hi, Jeff. Are we an agent? Yes, we are. We are an independent travel advisor. We are Where's Walter Travel. Our services are 100% free to you. We book cruises, land tours, luxury, and expedition. So pretty much anything you can think of. I think even including space. I think we can book space too. But yeah, anything you can think of, more or less, we can do it, including even private jets. You want a private jet to take you somewhere? We can book that. But yeah, I think we represent predominantly like 35 or so river and ocean cruise lines. And then about 20 some partners. So yeah, if you'd like to reach out, where's waltertravel.com. You're watching me on TikTok, you can click my logo. There's a link tree in there. The first link is going to be contact us. And if you're watching us anywhere else, the links are down in the description probably, or in my profile. Amber wants to know the pros and cons of the Carnival Sunshine, what to take or not to take. Just depends on what you're looking for. I can't remember if that's a Spirit class or not. It just depends on what you're looking for. It's a Carnival ship. It's a fun Carnival ship. Your inclusions are going to be the main dining room, guys, burgers, the buffet, things like that. The shows are usually pretty fun. I can't remember what all they have on the top deck for the top deck activities. Bars are usually pretty good. The main dining room and the buffet, to me, you're not going to go hungry, but you might not be excited about them. The pizza's usually good. The burgers are usually good. If they have Blue Iguana on that ship, I think they do. Blue Iguana is really good. So it's a fun ship. You just got to know, you got to know what it has and what it doesn't have. One of the things about cruise line websites is sometimes like you see all these things that are included with Carnival. It's like what's included with Carnival overall. And then it also depends on the itinerary you want to go on. So if it's an itinerary you like, the ship itself is fun. There are very few Carnival ships that are not fun. They are really, really fun ships. So you should have a really good time. I mean, that's pretty much it. So first time going on any cruise and you're going in August. Oh, well, hopefully you did the research and hopefully it's everything that you anticipate that it's going to be. It's one of the things that we have to do with clients, especially your first time cruise. We need to make sure that we match you up with the exact ship and the exact itinerary so that you're going to have the best first experience. So have a great time. You're going to have fun. You're on Carnival. Hey, there's nothing like the Fun Squad. If you like trivia, you like games, you're going to have a great time with the Fun Squad. MLB, is there one type of booking that's more complex than others? I mean, if we have to put together a custom tour, certainly there is more research. We have to when we're combining a land tour with a cruise, that gets a little bit more complex, but I mean, you know, my background is over 30 years in film, television, and marketing. I was a chief creative officer, VP of marketing, creative director, all that good stuff. So for me, complex is just a day in the office. I used to manage hundreds of projects, managing crews and productions literally all over the globe. And I basically brought that mindset forward to being a travel agent. So managing complex, it's really not that big a deal. It just takes more time. You know, if we need to put together, like we've been talking to one client about putting together a tour in Argentina, and because of what she wants to do, it's literally we're putting together the tour, and it's much more complex that way because there's certain things that she wants to do. There's hotels she wants to stay at, certain things she wants to do. So that becomes much harder than, well, here's a tour that we can do. But I don't think anything is really that much more complex. So best cruise around the end of February, beginning of March. I don't know. Where are you sailing from and where do you want to go? I don't know where you are. I don't know where you want to go. And I don't know where you want to sail from. So
don't know what you enjoy doing.
Yeah. So Jersey, New York, Baltimore, Galveston, Los Angeles, Tampa, Fort Lauderdale, Port Canaveral, Miami, Europe. There's so many things. There is no best cruise out of there. It's the best cruise for you. Like, what do you want to do? How long do you want to be on the ship? How much do you want to spend? How big of a ship do you want? What ports do you want to go to? There is no best cruise for me just to say, go on this one. Because there really isn't. It's just based on that. That's why when we work with a client, there's always an intake call. I get people all the time writing to me going, hey, how much is it just to get on something like this? Or what's a good cruise I can go on next week? We got to get on a call because I don't know what you want. And there's no charge to work with us. So, you know, just give us a call and we'll find the best cruise for you based on your budget, where you want to go, and where you want to sail out of. You know, that's the easiest thing. That's the easiest thing for us. And I don't mean to be flippant about it. It's just, it really is. Because the biggest influence on what's going to be the best cruise for you is when do you want to sail and where do you want to sail out of? Because there's only so many ships. You know, at that point, now we're limited to these are the 10 ships we have, and here's the 3 that are actually doing the thing that you want to do. So of those 3, what are we going to choose for you? So yeah, so it really does come down to, and I know some of you probably get annoyed with me saying that all the time. Like, well, all depends on but it literally does, because there's only a finite amount of choices once we get it all narrowed down to what you want to do. And then from those choices, those are the choices we have, unless you're flexible and we can go somewhere else. So yeah. Oh, Amber, you did no research and you're going in blind. That should be fun. How often does Carnival change their shows? Not all that often. You know, it takes a lot of work to put together a show. So like on Royal Caribbean, for example, they have shows that started years ago that are still running. And so, yeah, they don't change them out that often.
Yeah, most cruise lines don't.
Most cruise lines don't change them out that often.
The little like kind of music acts that might be in different smaller venues, those will change.
Right. Yeah, but the small acts can change weekly. So, folks, it is a little bit after 11:30. I need to wrap it up so I can get ready. I will be live with Gary Bembridge at the top of the hour on YouTube only. Tips for travelers with 2 L's and travelers. So, folks, if we can help you in any way with your travels, just reach out. Again, our services are 100% free to you. Where's WalterTravel.com. I'm going to be here Thursday night on YouTube with Cunard. If you've always had questions about Cunard's going to be live with me on Thursday night on the YouTube channel only. So come join us Thursday night to learn everything there is to know about Cunard Cruises. I'm going to learn a lot that night. I can't wait for that conversation. Gary, yes, Baltimore has been open for a while to sail out of. Yay, so very happy about that. So everybody, thank you so much for joining in. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Come join me Thursday night to learn more about Cunard, and come over in top of the hour. Come join us on Gary Bembridge Tips for Travelers on YouTube. Have a great Sunday, everybody.